Previously on Relatable's Baddies Book Club.
Not yet. I want you deeper. Pushes him off, gets on her stomach, hips up, get inside me. And he's like, are you sure? She's like, get the fuck inside me.
Jeez.
And so he starts railing her from behind, grabs her hips, and he's like, boo, boo. She's just like, oh yeah! She's fucking loving it, bro. Gets to the point where they both just have their massive release.
Yeah.
He just finishes inside her, sits back, and he's like, oh.
Welcome to Relatable's Baddies Book Club, where we will embark on a journey reading some of the finest pieces of literature you have ever laid eyes, or ears, if that's your preferred way to consume a book, on.
Oh, no.
A Court of Silver Flames, chapters 41 to 50.
Wow. This book's turning up, Jake.
Yeah, you know what? It is.
Love to say it. The storyline, the sex eased off a little bit. Compared to the last chapter was the most, I thought. It's still good stuff. I reckon. It's still good.
There was one bit that was left up to imagination of how it went.
Oh, yes. But also, I'm super happy. Hey,
Now I'm feeling good.
Nesta annoyed me at the end. Yeah.
She regressed.
Yeah.
Let's just say she regressed.
Jarring. I tell you who Cassian is.
Who?
He's like, if he was a real life person, a human, he's like the captain of the rugby football team, like huge, like for some reason they depict him as smart, but then when it comes to the way he uses words, he just can't use them.
When it comes to women.
Yeah.
When it comes to women. But look, it's not.
That's not how it was meant to come out.
I don't know,
Nesta,
man.
please.
It's hard because you think, I don't know. I would say Nesta being upset was valid, but the way that she reacts isn't really valid.
Well, her coping mechanism is if I'm hurting, you have to hurt too.
Yes, correct. Her coping mechanism is exactly that.
I'm going to bring everyone else down with me.
I'm gonna spread the hurt.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh no, I've grown. I didn't mean to.
Oh man, it's. But I think it was cool to have it in there because it leads to growth.
Exactly.
It really does. Let's be
Exactly.
completely honest.
Yeah.
So I guess without further ado, guys,
Let's not waste any time.
let's get right into it.
Let's get right into the news.
Chapter 41. It's a long one.
It is.
This could have been spread out, but that's all right though. So, chapter 41, Hellion, he arrives on a Pegasus as well, a flying horse, which is sick.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Apparently, he wanted to arrive via like 6 flying horses and a chariot, but Reese goes, "Why?
Just take the one.
Just fucking." He actually said you have to winnow, and then instead of winnowing, he took 1 horse. So that was his version of compromise, apparently. And so he comes down, and they talk about the Pegasus and like how rare they are and stuff. You know, cool, whatever.
I was thinking of the one out of Harry Potter.
Yeah, pretty similar. Except the one in Harry Potter's like kind of dragony and scary.
Dragony? Not really.
Like,
Buckbeak?
Yeah. Oh no, wait. It's got like an eagle head, right?
Yeah, an eagle. It's Buckbeak.
Buckbeak.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so Hellion arrives.
Yeah.
And they tell him about Feyre's pregnancy. Of course, he says congratulations.
I like Hellion.
Oh, yeah. Favorite.
Yeah. I like his character.
Same. So, then he goes in and they ask if he can have a look at these soldiers. And he goes in and straight away he's like, ugh, oh my God, yuck. Well, I don't know what's wrong with them. They're not under a spell. He said that it's almost as if, so he said if they were under a spell, he would feel like a tether. But there's no tether. He said it's just like a fog, and they are not of their right mind. And so someone says, Bryalan must have the mask already. Or, no, sorry, not the mask, the crown. Because what the crown does, so there's the mask, the harp, and the crown in the Dread Trove. The crown, it can get into anyone's mind and influence them in any way they like. Even Reese, anyone, no matter how good your mental shields are. The mask, we know, you can make the dead your army. And the harp opens doors to other dimensions.
Very cool.
They come to a realization that Bryalan obviously has the crown. And that she has used it on the soldiers. And they have to tell Hellion about the Dread Trove and everything. And he's kind of like, shit, damn, fucking good luck, guys. And so he just, I don't even think he helps the soldiers.
He couldn't.
Yeah, he was like, fuck
There's
knows
nothing I
what
can
to
do.
do. I have
What's
no
the-
idea what to do.
Yeah, it's not a spell that he
Yeah,
can help.
he's like, they're on their own. And so then they ask him about the mask, and they take him up to the mask, and straight away he goes, that shit, cover that shit back up. He's like, that's insane. He looks at Nestor, he says, you wore that shit and survived. And she's like, yeah. And so and then everyone's kind of like, why are you so like affected by this? We can feel the power, but we're not affected. And he's like, oh, maybe someone in my past bloodline wore the mask once, and it's like my bloodline is warning me. They always kind of chuck in random shit, I noticed.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It like adds to the storyline if there were more books. Or
Yeah,
something.
it's kind of cool. Like it'd be cool to have a book on Hellion.
It would be pretty cool, to be honest.
I would love a book on each one, except for fucking Baron. Fuck Baron.
His story would be cool, though.
It would be cool, to be fair.
Like, you'd
Why
be
is he
hating
so
him.
evil?
You'd be hating him the
Yeah.
whole time.
Why is he so evil?
Like, yeah, well, this one's good. Like, we're hating Nestor at the start.
So he then is like, yeah, this shit's fucking crazy. It'll get me the hell out of here. So they ask, can you teach Nestor how to put a ward in this room so no one can enter? And then she wants it so even she can't enter. But he helps her with the ward, and he helps her, but he keys it to her blood. So if anyone can enter, it's her, but she needs to undo the ward. So he says, all right, I'll teach you how to undo the ward. And she goes, no, I don't want to. Because what if Allen uses the crown on me and then I just fucking give her the mask? And they're all kind of like, oh yeah, fair. But the real reason was because she didn't want to have access to the mask because of how good it made her feel. No guilt, no hating on herself and all that type of stuff. But then everyone says, all right, good idea. So Reese goes, okay, just tell me how to undo the ward. And if we ever need to, then I will show Nestor. And I was like, okay, fair. But I was also thinking, like, can't he just get in her head? He's a beast.
That's gonna breadcrumb something.
That's breadcrumb and something like
Yeah.
they're going to need it. She's going to say no, and he's going to say, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm in ya. Her mental shields are pretty sick, apparently, though,
Yeah.
according to Reese. So they do that. Hellion's kind of like, oh, do you mind if I walk around your palace for a while? I was like, okay.
He just wants to check it out.
Yeah, he just wants to suss it
Bruce
out.
ain't troubles at home, mate.
Yeah, he's like, troubles at home, and I'm assuming Hellion's busy. I think that there's got to be more Hellion in the book, hopefully, and you do find out why at home he is troubled. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Now, I believe that's that on Hellion. And we're back at the house in Valaris, the House of Wind. And Cassian goes in to check on Nestor and maybe bring her some food. I can't really remember. No, he brings her a book. She's reading. And he goes in assuming she's reading a romance, and then asks what she's reading. And she's reading a book about battles or weaponry or something. And so he's kind of like, oh, wow. And he's brought her another one. But then he eyes something about the Valkyries. Or she mentions something like, well, I want to, know how to do all this if I want to lead a group of women. And he's like, what? And that's when he finds out about the Valkyries and the studying that she's been doing on the Valkyries. And he's like, girl, you want fucking the priestesses. You and the priestesses. You want to go around and fuck shit up. And she's like, hey,
Maybe.
if I'm going to be immortal or the closest thing to it, then I may as well plan for the future.
Tell you what, that and the mast put together.
Bro, she's going to be unfucking stoppable.
I know, it'll be sick.
So,
I hate how they don't use the things they get. Just use it.
there's a valid reason not to use it for her, though.
Ugh.
And everyone else, if they put it on, they're stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck.
So, he's about to walk out. He puts the book on her dresser or whatever. And he's about to walk out, and she goes, was it not good for you? Because they haven't spoken to each other much or haven't sought each other out after the sweet, sweet, sexy time they had. And so she goes, was it not good for you? And he's like, Nestor, it was amazing. He goes, I just didn't want to interrupt your training. She goes, I think she was kind of like, excuses. And he goes, I didn't want to mix them. You've been so focused that I didn't want to impede or whatever. And then I think he leans. He like goes one. He's like okay. No, what does she say? She might say something else, right?
And then he says, no, Nesta, I can't stop thinking about it. It's all I can ever think about.
Yeah, he like stands over top of her on her bed. He's like, it's all I can ever think about.
Yeah.
All I can ever think about is you. And then he puts one hand down next to her, straddles her, gets like on top of her, goes down next to her ear, and he's like, every night I fucking like touch myself to the thought of it.
Yeah.
He's like, do you touch yourself? And she's kind of like, yeah. And then he's like, do you ever think about what's better? Your fingers touching yourself or my fingers doing it for you? And she doesn't want to give him the satisfaction. And he's like, so, what is it? And she's like, oh, yours. And so then he goes, no, she says, well, how about we do a side-by-side comparison? She fucking...
Hot.
He strips her naked, right? And she starts touching herself. And she's like, but if we're doing this, you've got to watch. And you can't do anything. You can't touch me. You can't touch yourself. You need to watch, all right? Until I say so. And he's kind of like, okay, whatever. So she starts touching herself, right? She starts rubbing it, and she like puts her fingers in. And she's like thinking about it, and she's like, this is what I do. And he's kind of like growling with pleasure. And he goes to touch himself, and she's like, And then, bro, oh my God. As soon as she opens her legs as well, he's kind of like that sweet pink flesh or some shit. Insane. And so then I think what happens next is she finishes and he's looking down, couple more attempts at touching her, and she's like, And then he goes, he just is so wound up, rock hard in his pants, doesn't know what to do. He's just like, please. And so she goes, wait. And then she goes, okay. He goes down and he like starts to give her a couple cheeky little teasy licks, right? And then he takes his pants off. He's rock hard. He looks up at her. He's like, what do you want me to start with? My fingers, my tongue, or my cock?
Damn!
Oh, and then she goes, what about the side-by-side comparison? And he's like, she looks at his dick and she goes, I need that in me right now.
Right now.
And she's like, I don't want it to be like before. I don't want you to fucking go in easy. And he goes, I'm going to hurt you. She goes, you're not going to hurt me. Oh my God.
That was hot, eh?
So basically, that he just puts it in straight away, all the way in.
Yeah.
And she just is like back arched. Oh my God. And so he just starts pumping.
They go to Pound Town.
They go to Pound effing Town. Missionary, he's on top of her. Pound. She wraps her legs around him. And she's like riding him from underneath while he's pounding her, right? Getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And then they both come, all right? They both finish. And he's just still inside of her. She's just like, I don't even want him out. I just want to stay here all night, right?
Yeah.
And then she slowly kind of like gets him off or whatever, slips out from underneath. And she's just sitting there like, she's like, I don't know what it is about you, but I need you again. And he goes, no, I know what you mean. And he gets hard again. And she's kind of like, shit. And he goes, get on your hands and knees. She obeys. He goes, put your hands on the headboard. And then he looks at her, he grabs her by the hair and he's like, are you ready? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, hold on tight. Chapter ends. She's left up to the imagination of what happened. Oh my God, bro.
So sexy, eh?
It's insane.
They're too meant for each other.
Oh, literally. Why don't they just admit that they're mated?
The dirty dogs.
And just, fucking hell.
I know.
Chapter 42. It's another kind of beast chapter, to be fair. Cassian gets called down to the river house, and he's in Reese's office, and he's like thinking, oh, fuck, I definitely smell like Nesta still, but whatever. Reese and
They didn't even care, right? That was weird.
Reese and Asriel are there, so is Amryn. It's like before 8 a.m. the next day. And they're there, and then Amryn, she can smell Nesta on him, and she smiles at him, and she's like, having some fun, are you? And so she goes, Reese, hurry up. Why am I here before breakfast, and why is it Varian still in my bed? All right? It's like, okay. Thanks for adding that.
Yeah.
And then Reese goes, he plonks these a sword, like a big ass sword, another smaller sword, and a knife on the table. And he's like, we had a blacksmith out on the western edges of the city come to me yesterday and dump these on me and say, that they're mine now because he believes they are cursed. And then Cassian's like, the western edge of the city, which one? And Reese is like, the one that you and Nesta went to the other day. And he's like, oh, what the hell? Is it a gift? And he's like, no, this motherfucker said these things are cursed and he doesn't want anything to do with them. And he's like, Cassian's like, what the hell? And they're like, what'd you do in this blacksmith? And he goes, I just took Nesta there to show her what goes into making a blade because I'm teaching her with blades now. That's what we're up to in her training. And then he's like, and then the blacksmith let her hammer a couple blades and they're like, wait. Are you kidding? Reese and Amren look at each other and they go, it can't be. What? And Amren's like, no. It's been centuries. It's been millennia or whatever. It's been 10,000 years. And then Azrael's kind of like, fuck, care to
Explain.
care to explain?
Yeah.
And then they go on to say that back in the day, the High Fae, like over 10,000 years ago, they were more in tune with the earth and in the naturalness or whatever, and they would imbue their power into objects. And there was this one sword made called Gwydion, and it was like the sword of kings or whatever. And it was back in the day when Prythian was not 7 courts, it was one big kingdom, and this one guy rose to be a king or whatever, and using that sword. And there was unity, and then his wife and someone else, like his general, they took the sword from him, and everything got fucked up, and now there's 7 courts with 7 high lords, and there's no more unity, and everyone bickers, and this and that and the other. So they're kind of like, Nesta dead set just created another dread trove.
I don't know, how cool is that?
Yeah, and I was like, what? He goes, Gwydion's gone. All right? That motherfucker hasn't been seen for 10,000 years. There has literally been no other thing apart from the dread trove we are now looking for where stuff has been imbued with magic. And the way Gwydion was made was, I think it was like dipped in the cauldron or some shit. But they're thinking, Jesus Christ. Amren's just like, Reese, hide those motherfucking swords, all right? Hide them. Do not touch them. If you open that, if you unsheath that sword, mother curse you or some shit. I don't know. She's like, we need to hide them.
Well, there was one more sword from Amarantha.
Yeah, so what happens is, Amren goes, all right, capiche? Capiche. She leaves. She's like, I'm telling you, don't open the sword. And then she leaves. And then Reese is talking to Cassian and Azrael, and he's like, he's all kind of like devoed and sad, and he goes, I can't find a solution for keeping Feyre alive with the birth of the baby. And so then they talk about that a bit, and he's just like, it's just not possible. There's nothing that can be done. I just can't. He said that yesterday he begged Hellion, he was on his hands and knees, and he begged Hellion to search his 1,000 libraries for an answer. And Hellion said that he would put any librarian or priestess that had free time to look for answers, because someone has to have fucking done some research on it one day or someday in the past. And so he just has no solution. And they say, like, don't worry, like, we're going to find an answer. We'll do it. We'll be there every step of the way. And then Cassian, to lighten the mood, goes, I mean, while we're here, Amren's gone. Why don't we use those pretty little powers of yours, Reese, to check out these swords? And he's like, I don't know. Amren said not to. And he's just like, you don't have to touch it. It's your magic that's touching it.
Just a bunch of boys.
And Azrael's kind of like, yeah, why don't we? And so Reese picks up like the big sword, right? And that's the one she hammered the longest. So something else to consider was like what mood she was in when she was hammering these fucking things. I don't know why. But he picks it up and he goes, it's heavy, like heavier than it should be in a weird way. It's like it doesn't want to be like picked up by me. And he unsheathes it and he looks at it and it's like sparking with fucking magic and shit. And they're thinking, whoa, they're all in awe, right? They feel the power off this thing. It's crazy. And he's kind of like swiveling it around, and then Amren's at the door and she's just like, I knew you'd fucking open that thing, you idiot. She waltzes on in and she goes, there was another one, you know, another sword. Starts with an A, I can't really remember. And Amarantha found it.
What was rumors?
Yeah, there's rumors that Amarantha found it and she destroyed it. And that one was not as powerful as Gwydion, but again, would make anyone a king in this realm. And then she goes on to say, like, I think Reese opens up the other two, the knife and the other sword, and they are also just like seem powerful as fuck in their own right. And so Amren goes on to say, you know, Reese, with fucking weapons like these, you could be king, like of all of Prythian.
How cool!
I know. And Reese is like, no.
This annoyed me.
Same. He's like, no. I will not be king.
Yeah.
I do not want to be king, and I will not entertain this for another second. And Amren's kind of like, bro, I'm fucking telling you right now. You need to be king. Think about this, right? Think about how many things that are about to happen to us that could literally just be gone in a second because Prithian is a unified front. Because right now, there's 7 High Lords, and none of them agree on basically anything because they're all about their borders and about their power, right? They're all power hungry. You're the only one that's not actually power hungry, and you have the most power, right? She's like, fucking think about it. And Cassian's like, shit, bro, you actually...
Amren was spitting bars.
I know. He's like, Cassian's kind of like, Reese, that really could answer a lot of our problems here. We could probably take on Koshi, no problem, if everyone bowed to you.
Things I could do with those weapons, mate.
And then Azriel goes, if you think about it, Tarquin, Callius, and Hellion, they'd probably bend a knee straight away if you think about it, right? Yeah. And then if they bend a knee, Thesian's going to bend a knee. Tamlin would put up a fight and lose, obviously. And the only one left standing is Baron, who obviously is going to get fucking overrun. And you're going to have to bow. And Reese is like, I'm telling you right fucking now, I'm not talking about this with you guys, all right? I will not be king.
Come on, Reese.
And I was like, fuck.
I know.
You'd be such a good king. He's like, I just want to be with my people, and I want to have my kid, and I want my fucking wife to survive.
There's so many signs, though.
And I was like, fuck, bro.
All the sisters are in the night court. And then these things have been dropped on his desk, basically.
And he's like, he's like, you guys want me to be a conqueror?
Yeah, we do.
And I was like, fucking oath, I want you to be a conqueror.
All hail Reese.
All hail Reese. And you know what? You could literally just do it in an easy way.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared of you anyway.
I know.
All right. So he says, I'm not talking about this anymore. And I think something's going to happen, obviously. But then Amren says, these motherfucking swords, they are not here by coincidence, all right? The Cauldron did this on purpose. Think about it. Nesta is here, all right? Nesta made the swords.
Yeah.
Nesta is made by the Cauldron. Therefore, the Cauldron made the swords. The blacksmith could have taken them anywhere. Could have thrown them off a cliff. Could have thrown them in the ocean. But everything led to you. Everything leads to you. You and Feyre, you got you, right? The most powerful. Your power's doubled with her. She's on par with you, motherfucker. So, think about it. And he's like, oh, okay. And she goes, the Cauldron didn't do this by coincidence. And it's also only going to give you a certain amount of time to decide, all right? That thing literally made our world. It made our universe. So, if it wants someone to be king, these swords will end up in someone else's hands eventually. If not, if you don't make a decision. And so that's when he's like, fucking get out.
King Lucian.
I tell you what, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, imagine.
I wouldn't hate it.
But
I also would like to see King Hellion.
Yeah. Reese was just like blah, 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 blah.
I know. Chapter 43. Cassian and Nesta, they go to meet Aerys in the Spring Court because Reese suggested that Nesta go with Cassian. And because she's like fucking really good at playing mind games. It's like a thing. And Cassian clearly needs some help because he wears his heart on his sleeve. And so they're there, they're waiting. They're like, where the fuck is he? Blah, 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 blah. Aerys shows up. They say, look, good news, bad news. What do you want first? He says, obviously, Aerys is like, I want the bad news. And so Cassian goes, well, we found 2 of your soldiers. But the bad news is that the rest of them are dead. And then he's like, who killed him? And Cassian goes, look, technically it was me and Azriel, but we were protecting ourselves. Okay. They followed us into the bog, or whatever, the bog, all right, the Urad bog. And yeah. And so he's like, Aerys is like, what the fuck? There was 24 of them. You didn't have to kill all of them apart from 2. What are you doing? And Cassian's like, no, seriously, I had to.
There wasn't the other way around.
Cassian's like, I had to.
Didn't Cassian go, there was like 24 of them, and then Aerys was just like, there was triple that.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, he goes, there was 2 dozen.
Yeah.
And Aerys goes, there was a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You didn't have to kill all of them and keep just 2. And then Aerys is all pissed off, and then Nesta chimes in, and she goes, one of them shot Azriel in the wing with an ash arrow, which are illegal to have. So how about we talk about that? Yeah. And Aerys is like, oh, shit. And Nesta's kind of like, yeah, that's what I thought. So how about you keep your pretty little mouth shut?
Ooh.
All right? And we'll keep our mouth shut. Yeah. You want your fucking thing? Do you want your 2 soldiers back or not? And then he's kind of like, yeah. And then as she's saying this, Cassian is like touching Nesta's back. Again, wearing his heart on his sleeve. He's terrible at hiding stuff. So Aerys is kind of like, oh, they're fucking. They be fucking. And she's out here to protect him. And so then he smiles and he says something like, well, Nesta, always good to see you. If you ever get sick of this fucking bastard brute, I'll show you what it's like to have some real fun. And I was like, dude, I don't think you can compare to Cassian. I really don't.
We don't know.
I really don't.
We don't know.
So,
Nah.
as they're about to, they're having a bit of a disagreement, but then they both, Eris and Cassian, both go still as fuck. And Nesta's like, what the fuck? And as soon as she realizes, she's like, fuck. She heard paw prints. And then 2 seconds later, fucking Tamlin in beast form's there.
Very cool. I was listening to the dramatized audio. I always forget how annoying he sounds.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
Apparently he sounded all fucked because he's been in beast form for ages.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, we were just leaving. And he goes, what are you doing here? All mad, obviously.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's none of your business. He goes, well, it's my business because you're on my court. I'm entitled to kill anyone that crosses my borders. And Nesta's like, dude, shut the fuck up. What do you mean borders? You're not doing anything. You're out here groveling because Feyre, all right? How about shut up? And then she's getting all pissed off, right? And she lets us some power show in her eyes. And she's like, goes on to say like, fucking, it's because of you that my sister was all fucked up and then saved by the Night Court. It's because of you that I went in the cauldron. It's because of you that Elaine went in the cauldron. She's like, if you fucking look at this one more time, I'm going to cut your head off, all right? And the last time I pointed at someone and promised them death, you know what happened. And I was kind of like, fucking bars. She goes, I suggest you keep your pretty little fucking mouth shut about this meeting too. Because it's more like Eris actually is the one that would probably be worse off for people to know about their meeting because Baron finding out. But Eris gives a little nod to Nesta like, thanks, and then they bugger off. But yeah.
Didn't Tamlin say, you're as bad as your other sister or as your sister
described?
Yeah.
He's like, you're as bad as Feyre described. And
Yeah.
she's like, good.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck off. Keep your mouth shut. Chapter 44. So the next day at training, they've got Gwyn, Nesta, and Emery chilling there, right, doing their training. And Cassian, they start talking about the Valkyries, right? And then he says, because he knows about the Valkyries, he's like...
wasn't Nesta using some breathing techniques?
Well...
Was that now?
She was thinking about using she was using the breathing techniques to get through an exercise, right? Yeah. And then they had some chitter-chatter, and then they were like, how do you know about the Valkyries, right? And then he goes, I know a fucking Valkyrie breathing method when I see it. I used to fight with them in the war. And Nesta was like, fuck, I forgot how old this motherfucker was. This guy's ancient, bro. He's over 500 years old. And they were all sitting there thinking, shit. They said to him, really? He was like, yeah, I fought in 5 wars with them until the many passed when they all went and they knew they were going to die. And they all freaking committed suicide and died in that battle. He goes, I was just a grunt, but I was begging that we go save him. And I just got beat up by my superiors and strapped to a wagon. But then they all fucking died. And so they were thinking, damn, like that's fucking sick, bro. And so I think Nesta goes on to say something about, well, why haven't you said anything? You know, why aren't we training in the ways of the Valkyrie? You know, why don't we do some sort of Illyrian Valkyrie hybrid method? Because if we want to go out here fucking shit up together, saving people, then we may as well have everyone on their toes. And then Cassian actually goes, and Azriel's there too, and Azriel's listening, and he's like, apparently Azriel's face was like, damn, that's a good idea. And so Cassian goes, bring me everything you have on the Valkyries. Training starts tomorrow on how to be a Valkyrie.
I kind of like, it just seems so simple.
I know.
Like, Nesta and Gwen just found this book on breathing techniques, and then they're doing it. And
to be fair, Meryl's doing the research.
Well, what a good idea.
I know. Yeah, what a great idea. I can teach you that.
I feel like when I was reading it, I was like, oh, sure, let's just fucking, why not?
I know. It's funny.
Yeah.
But I guess, again, we need to keep in mind, fantasy.
Yeah. Fantasy.
Also,
there's no bad ideas.
Also, it's said 1 to 2 chapters later, but it is fair to assume that Cassian does have a lot of knowledge about the Valkyries because his first lover outside of the Night Court was a Valkyrie. And Nesta notices something in his voice and she goes, I wonder if he's ever fucked a Valkyrie. And she's all mad about it.
Very defensive. But I was thinking back to when Cassian's like, you're not going to touch a sword. It took me 7 years to pick up an actual blade. And then 3 days later, he's like, oh, I know nothing about this, but let's do some breathing
Let's
techniques.
go to a blacksmith. Fuck's sake. Hilarious. So then later on, Cassian goes to have dinner with everyone down at the river house. Nesta doesn't go. She's never invited there. And they talk about whether or not... Oh, apologies as well. When they found out about the Dread Trove or the new Dread Trove, like the swords that Nesta created, he goes like, I need to tell Nesta. And then, so Rhys and Amren both voted, no, don't tell Nesta. And Cassian's like, no, I can't keep it from her. She needs to know. And Azriel agreed with Cassian. He was like, she needs to know. And so then they said, well, we'll wait for Feyre to get back from the studio painting and her vote will be the deciding vote. At dinner that night, she said, no, my sister obviously needs to know.
What do you think?
Oh, they should have told Nesta that she should have been at the meeting.
Yeah, Sam.
They should have brought Nesta into the meeting and been like, you made these. All right?
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do with them?
Yeah.
We think we should hide them, but
Rhys, wield it now, please.
we personally think that...
I hate you, Rhys, but wield it for me.
It's because Amren and Rhys don't trust Nesta. They dislike her a lot. Because they don't know, what if she gets in a spiteful mood and she uses them to fuck shit up. Which to be fair, her reaction to what happens pretty soon is a valid reason why they shouldn't have told her, but she needs to know. So he goes down and Feyre says, yeah, no, we definitely need to tell her. So Cassian's like, sick. I'll be the one to do it. I'll do it in right time. I'll choose the right time. And I was like, yeah, go Cassian,
The
Good on you, mate.
The irony of it.
Good on you. And so there's a bit of chitty chatty about what Nesta used to be like back in the day when they had money.
We find out she's a dancer.
She's a dancer. It was all kind of like, cool, we're getting some backstory.
Yeah.
I don't know, she did some spiteful shit to someone that was mean to Elaine, obviously. Cool. Chapter 45.
This is so random.
Chapter 45, guys. This is random, you're correct. So, chapter 45. Next day, Cassian starts teaching the Valkyrie methods because he studied them at 5 a.m. and made sure he could do them so then he could teach them. And so they are doing some stuff, and then he looks over to Nesta. He asks Nesta, like, if you were to name a sword, what would you name it? And then Gwyn and Emery both have an answer. And then he goes, yeah, but Nesta, like, what would you name it? And she goes, I don't know, Killer? And he goes, no, seriously, that's a shit name. Like, come on, what would you name it? And she's like, why? He goes, no reason. No, just want to know. And she's like, obviously, she can read this motherfucker like a book. Training ends. She goes,
what's a big fucking brute? This guy thinks he's being all sly.
Unfortunately, he's living up to the brutish insults.
Thinks he's being all slick and shit. What would you name it? What would you name a sword that we just found that you made?
So he goes, no reason. After training, she's like, what's this sword shit about? He goes, oh look, it's just he says it he just delivers it in such a bad way. He's like, oh, no reason. She goes, no, spit it out. And he's like, well, we thought you should know. And she goes, what, we? And he goes, oh. Wait, no, how does he deliver it? He says something, he goes, well, oh, no. He goes, when we went to the blacksmith and you hammered on the swords? She goes, yeah. She goes, well, you imbued them with your power. And she goes, what? He's like, you made another Dread Trove. She goes, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, and we thought that, we should let you know. She goes, we? We're talking about we. And he goes, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No, Nesta, it's not. She's like, what do you mean, we? Who's we? Who's we? And he's like, says who was part of the voting.
Yeah, he goes, we all voted. We voted?
Yeah. We all voted, and the vote was in your favor. Yeah. And she goes, what do you mean in my favor? Who voted? And then she says, she goes, who voted no? And he goes, Rhys and Amren. And she goes, oh, well, Rhys, I understand. I saw that coming. But Amren? What the fuck? Amren? The one who used to stick up for me, who used to be my friend. And then he's like, she really has given up on me. And
Cassie's like, I voted for you from the start.
He's like, don't worry, I wanted to tell you from the start. She's like, but what fucking didn't you? Okay. Now, training ends. She fucks off, all right? She goes down the 10,000 stairs, makes it to the bottom. She waltzes over to Amren's apartment, right?
That was the first time she made it, eh?
Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic as fuck.
Yeah.
She waltzes over to Amren's place. Amren's fucking sitting on Varian's dick, by the way. She walks in. I don't know, why'd you vote no? Fuck you, you wench, or whatever. Amren just hops off. She's like, Varian, skedaddle. And her and Amren start to have a bit of an argument. And Amren's like, of course I'm going to vote no. You little selfish brat.
Yeah.
She's like, of course you're going to react like this as well, aren't you? You literally have, she's like, just saying, you're so immature, you're so selfish, you're so fucking all this stuff. And like, Amryn was saying some valid shit. She goes, look at the way you're reacting right now. This is the very reason I would not tell you that you have created a dread trove. Literally, because if one of us spites you, or if one of us says something you don't like, out of literal spite, you're going to do some shit, right? And so they're having an argument, and Amryn's just like, to be fair, give him valid points. And I do understand why Nessa's mad, because she should have been told. But then Feyre runs over. She goes, everybody stop. I'm so sorry, like, Nesta, we should have told you, I'm so sorry. And she's all mad, and then she steps in between her and Amryn. And she says, Nesta, leave. Amryn, stay here. Because she's like, can't really tell Amryn what to do. But, and then Nesta goes, you're her little high lady. Why are you fucking scared of her? Why are you backing down from her? And then Feyre goes, yes, I may be her high lady, but I am also her friend, right? And so, and I show her, and like, I'm going to treat her with respect. She's been part of this court for thousands of years. And then Nesta's like, respect? You want to talk about fucking respect? What about how no one's told you yet? What about how you and your pretty little high lord have this perfect relationship, but he hasn't even told you yet? And she's like, tell me what? And Nesta goes, oh, fuck, I fucked this shit up, but I'm following through. Fuck it. About the fact that when you have that baby, it's going to kill both of you.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Feyre goes, what? What do you mean? She's like, when you try to have your baby with the little fucking Illyrian wings it's got, it's going to kill you both because your body wasn't made to do it. And then Amryn's like, you filthy wench to Nesta. How dare you? And then Feyre's obviously upset.
Yeah.
And she, I can't really remember what happens, but then it goes to Cassian. And Cassian is at the River House, and he's in the office with Rhys. And apparently he's seen Rhys speak this way sometimes.
I thought this was a Damati thing, and Rhys is like, what's going on? And Cassian's like, I never hear him like this. Was it not?
No, I think he was there.
Oh, he was there.
I think.
Because he's like, oh, okay, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe not. Basically, Rhys was talking to Cassian.
Yeah.
And Cassian's like, what's happened? Do I need to go over there? And he goes, no. He's about to run over. And Rhys says, no, don't go. And then Rhys is like very cool, calm, collected, but he has nothing behind his eyes. And he's like super angry. And Cassian has seen it before, but never directed at him. And he's pissing himself. And so Rhys goes, it's all over now. But Nesta fucking decided that it was her right or whatever to tell Feyre about how the baby's going to kill her. And Cassian's like, fuck, bro, what the fuck? And so I think Rhys goes, what does he say? He's like, I'll go get her and I'll take her to the House of Wind or whatever. And then Rhys is like, nah, go get her, take her out of the city. Because if you don't, I'm going to fucking kill her.
Valid though, but what happened?
Honestly, facts, bro. Facts. Yeah, unpopular opinion. Oh, here we go. I've got on my notes. This is where I get the chapter summaries from someone online. And so, unpopular opinion, Nesta did nothing wrong, even though she told Feyre out of anger. Someone needed to tell her, and not one of them had any right to keep it from her under the guise of protecting her.
Well, that's when Feyre comes and said everyone overreacted, like in a chapter, and he's like, well, at least you had the guts to tell me no one else did. Basically, what Feyre said.
So I just did 45 and 46, I believe, but oh well. 47, and Cassian goes down. He's flying through the city looking for Nesta, swoops down, picks her up. She just doesn't even care. She's done. She just grabs onto him. She doesn't even give a fuck.
She's like numb now.
Goes up towards the House of Wind, and Azriel's up there flapping away, holding a bag. Chucks it to Cassian, and they just fly off. And she says, we've been flying for hours and hours, and she didn't even give a fuck, right? And so then they land eventually, and they land. He doesn't talk to her. He's mad as fuck at her. Fair. She's just like mad at herself now, and she's kind of like, what the fuck? She just doesn't even give a fuck anymore. She doesn't even want to be alive. She huddles up under this rock, and he like puts a bag down. He goes, I'm going to make a fire. And then Feyre starts talking to Cassian in his mind. And he goes, shit, I forgot you could do this. And she's like, yeah, maybe I should use them all. And she's like, where'd you go? And he goes, "Oh, we're out in the mountains. I'm going to take Nessa for a hike." It's like, okay. And she goes, "Oh, you can come back. Reese knows now that he shouldn't have made her leave the city." And they're chatting. And then he goes, "I'm so sorry. One of us should have told you." And she goes, "Yes, obviously one of you should have told me. Should have been Reese, to be completely honest with you. But everyone's overreacted. It is what it is." And he goes, "I thought you'd be way more mad about this." And she's like, "I'm mad, but, I don't want to put the baby through that. And we need to figure it out together."
The growth on
I was
Feyre,
like,
might I say.
Fucking Feyre?
From book
The
one,
high lady.
1 to 4. Who is this lady now?
Yeah. So, he goes, "Look, thank you, but I'm going to take her on the hike anyway, and I'll deem when it's necessary to bring her back." And I was like, why don't you just ask Nesta if she wants to go back? And if she doesn't want to, stay out here.
Didn't he say something like, Feyre said Nessa's going to hate a hike.
And he goes, "Yeah, she probably needs it then."
And she probably needs it. And he's like, "I'll do it for Reese." And then Reese quietly says, "You don't have to, but really, please do it."
Yeah. Reese, she goes, yeah, Reese goes, "Well, you don't have to do that, but he is also kind of satisfied that you will."
Yeah.
Secretly satisfied that you are. And he goes, "Well, I'm secretly happy that he's satisfied."
Little cuties they are.
All right. Chapter 48. They wake up. She wakes up the next day, and she's still like, every time she hears a fire, he creates a fire, and every time she hears a fire, every single crack sounds like her dad's neck snapping. And he wakes her up, gives her food. He goes, I don't know. He just says super minimal stuff to her, like, "The next time we eat is going to be now. We're only eating twice a day," whatever. And then they start hiking. Hiking. Non-fucking stop hiking, right? And they stop, lunch, hike again, stop, stay the night, hike again. They're not saying a single word to each other all day, unless he's kind of like, "This is where we're stopping. This is what's for lunch." Each time they stop for each night, she collapses, doesn't even go to sleep. Each time she wakes up in the middle of the night, there's food next to her that he's made for her. And she's always like, "Why is this motherfucker so nice to me? I've been horrible to him." And then they wake up one morning and they're hiking. And he has a little bit of a monologue thing where he says where he's taking her. He's taking her on a big-ass hike to a lake. And something about these lands, Moore told him long ago, used to be used for healing. They would come to this lake to heal. And he goes, "Well, maybe I brought her here for that." He doesn't actually know why he brought her there. And so I think it was like 5 days in, they finally get to this lake, right? And she's talking about how everything hurts. She's the one carrying the pack as well because his wings can't carry it. So he's like, "You got to carry it." And he doesn't look back. She just looks at the back of his head all day. And she said that every now and then she has a little stumble, but it's all good. She walks through the pain of the rolled ankles and stuff. But this time, she's falling and she's like, "Oh shit, Cassian's getting closer to me. Whoa, what the fuck? That's weird. He never falls." She thinks he's fallen back to her. But then next thing you know, her face hits the ground. She's fainted.
Yeah.
He turns around, he's like, "Fuck, Nesta. Have you not been drinking water at all?" Gets her up on his lap, puts water in her mouth. She's just like, "Oh my God, oh my God." They rest there that night, all right? Next day, they make it to the lake. And for some reason, they get to the lake. And then she can't hold it anymore, right? She's been stuck with her thoughts for 5 days, which she hates. And Cassian's just been taking her there. They get to the lake and he goes, voila. She drops to her knees, bawls her eyes out. She just starts crying. She cannot stop crying. Cassian comes over to her and he's just like, lets her know that he's there. And then she's just like bawling her fucking eyes out. And finally she kind of like says to Cassian, she just starts talking about how it's all her fault, how she couldn't save her dad. She's like, "I couldn't save him." And he's like, "What are you talking about? You didn't kill your dad." And she's going on about how she hated him his whole life, hated her dad her whole life. Cassian swoops her up onto his lap and they're just like sitting there. She's on his lap and crying into his shoulder and shit. And he's kind of like caressing her face, like kind of keep her comfort. And she goes on to say, like, "I hated him my whole life. I literally just like out of spite didn't even do anything when we became poor. I just like did nothing because I wanted to see if he would do something. And that's why I let Feyre go out into the forest. So I was like, if she wants to be wild, she can be wild, whatever." And she just blames herself for everything because when they were younger, she could have done something, but she did nothing out of spite for her father. So then what happened was Feyre killed a fucking fairy, got taken by Tamlin, and then Elaine and her got taken into the cauldron. That's because of her. And then this fucking war happens, and then They get used in the war, and then her dad comes back to try and rekindle a relationship, and he's always loved her, even though she hated him the whole time. And then he dies, and she couldn't stop it. She couldn't use her magic. She couldn't stop the king. And Cassian's like, bro, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
He's like, I could sit here and tell you all day it's not your fault, but I'm not going to do that. But what I will sit here and tell you is it's going to get better. All right? She's like, it's not going to get better. It's my fault. And he's like, talks about, I could tell you what I did when my mum died, and I could tell you about the decade-long fucking healing journey I went through. I can tell you what I did, what I regret, but again, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you it's going to get better, and you will get better. Leave what happened in the past, all right? He gives her this sick speech.
Really good advice.
Yeah, it was fucking hectic.
Really good.
Yeah. And then, I just finished it. Basically, he tells her to embrace it. So shit, that's where it ended. And then then when that chapter ended, I flipped the page, and the next part is going to be a whole new part. We ended on a part, so we're on part 3. It's called Valkyrie.
Yeah, shit.
But that's the chapters, guys. So that's what happened. It's fucking.
I felt that was the perfect combo of like sexiness and storyline. Like that was like my sweet spot, eh? I reckon.
Some real character development with Nesta there.
Really good.
But so really, it's like she just needs to forgive herself.
She does, and you can always making it broad spectrum to everyone outside the book. Like you can make any problem seem like your fault.
Exactly.
Like no matter what happens, it can always be like put back on you.
Predictions.
Oh, predictions. I reckon Nesta's going to wield the sword without anyone's permission, even though she's growing. I reckon so. They've got the crown and we've got the mask, and now they've got the sword. What's left? The harp. Did they find the harp, or is this the Azrael thing where he goes off?
Hopefully, he just finds it on his own.
And we'll mention as well. Next episode, either way, we'll read the Secret Azrael chapter.
Oh, yeah, there's a Secret Azrael chapter.
And we'll go back and read the Feyre chapter, which I know everyone's talking me.
Feyre and Rhys.
Feyre and Rhys, they named the child. So we'll go back and recap both of them on Patreon only. That's your little perk, sorry.
I wonder what the name's going to be.
Sure, let's predict the names.
Because I thought it was going to be her dad's name.
That's boring. What was his name again? We don't know.
They never mentioned it. I got told in the comments that they've never mentioned it.
Yeah, but that's boring. Also, he was a shit dad.
Yeah.
I know the redemption
she wasn't overly fond of him.
The redemption arc was there. I reckon it's going to be like something like I like Thesian's name.
Thesian?
Yeah, something like I feel like TH.
What if they name it Tamlin?
I'm going to do that.
They name the child.
Well, they think it's a boy, so they know it's a boy from the bone carver. Themium. That's what I'm going with.
Themium?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Throw
still
in the
going.
dark.
I'm still going with Feyre's dad.
Okay, it was a safe bet.
He's
It's
died.
boring.
And if not, maybe is there someone that Rhys has spoken about that he loved dearly or anything?
Oh, he did. I think he did vaguely.
Someone that he loved, yeah.
Was probably maybe did someone?
don't-
No,
he didn't like his
I tell you
dad.
something Feyre would fucking do. You know that fairy who died right before Amarantha slaughtered like 2 fairies in front of her?
Oh, are you talking about the ones she killed?
Yeah, the ones she killed under the mountain.
Yeah.
She would call him one of them. That's something Feyre would do.
That is something Pharaoh would do.
Yeah.
That's something the old Pharaoh would do.
Yeah, I reckon she'd still do it. Yeah. But yeah, other predictions?
All right, I'm going to do a quick one. I think that there's a little bit of healing to do for Nesta to come back to the old courty court. They're going to go look for the harp. And... All right, here's my prediction. Sorry. Here's it. They are at the lake and they get taken.
Don't know if I agree with that.
Nah, okay, I got nothing then.
I've got actually... Well, we're missing the most important part. They're at the lake. Nesta's crying, la la la. She heals. They start training again because that's her coping mechanism now. Bang, fucking.
More.
Training, fucking.
Yeah.
Training, fucking. And then someone will come in, Cassian's mom, like, where are you guys? And Cassian's just like, we're training and fucking. And then they'll go back and apologize and there'll be one big family. And they'll all talk about the sword and how they've got the mask and be like, where's the harp, guys? And then for some reason, I reckon they'll have to go to battle to get the harp with the sword and use the mask.
I love it.
Yeah.
They're about to lose the battle, and then Nesta, for some reason, summons the sword and fucks shit up.
Or she gets the mask and Rhys gets the sword. Do you reckon Rhys is ever going to get the sword? I really want that to happen. If he doesn't, I'm going to be pissed.
If Rhys doesn't become king of
Yeah,
Prythian,
surely. When he was like, "Oh, I don't want to, guys," I was like, "Reese, this is what you're here for."
Hey, Sarah, we've noticed that Sarah J. Maas doesn't say shit just to say shit.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't talk about someone being king just for it not to happen. That means that either if it's not Reese,
Who is
it's
it?
someone.
If it's not Reese, who else could it possibly be? Tamlin's going to want it, but he doesn't have the capability.
Tamlin doesn't want that shit.
So it's
Tamlin wants to die.
Baron, Reese. The others don't want it. It's only Baron or Reese.
Baron would want it.
Thesian just doesn't have the capability to have it.
To be fair though, like Thesian's kind of a beast in his own right because he's just like simple as fuck. Like
And
he's got healing powers, but
We haven't heard from Tarquin in ages, so he's not going to do shit. But Lucian, Lucian has it in his blood to be something.
well, to be High Lord because he's the only heir to Hellion.
So he has the power to be king. Imagine if Lucian was king.
I'd actually be happy with that outcome.
That could be a fan fiction if that didn't happen. I'd be happy too. But there are our predictions. Comment below, guys, what you want us to do.
Yeah.
We're a podcast of the people.
We'll see you next week.
Stay bad.